Hey, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to another SolarWinds briefing for 2020. Delighted that you can join us this afternoon or this evening, wherever you may be, and thanks for your time. We do appreciate it. My name is John O'Callaghan. I look after international product marketing for SolarWinds, and I'm based in our Cork, Ireland office. And delighted once again to be joined today by my eminent colleague, Evgeny Bykov. How are you doing, Evgeny?
Afternoon, how are you?
Excellent altogether. Hope you're enjoying the nice weather out there. Obviously, we're all still working from home, so we're all in dispersed locations around the world today, and I'm sure anybody on the call is probably in the same environment. If you're back in the office, let us know in the chat box. We'd be delighted to know that. So let's get into the content today. We're going to talk around SolarWinds solutions and how we help with HPE or Hewlett Packard Enterprise environments. And of course, we're a multi-vendor company, so we cover lots and lots of different vendors. But HPE being such a big one, we're going to talk a little bit about them and how we can help organizations to monitor, manage, analyze those environments. If you have any questions, please feel free to send them through in the chat box or in the Q&A, and we will do our best to answer any questions during the course of the event. We may also post some links out into some useful pages on the website and so on, which may help you with some information in relation to today's topic as well. If you're already using SolarWinds solutions out there, let us know any feedback. Best place you can do that is to jump onto the SolarWinds TWAC online community. It's a strange name, but a great place. Lots of great information to be got there. Lots of questions that you can ask, and you will be joining over 150,000 other SolarWinds end users, partners. Our product management team is on there all the time. Product marketing is on there all the time. And you can also include feature requests. So if you're using a SolarWinds solution and it's not doing something that you would like it to do, or there's some area that you would like it to cover, you can actually put in a feature request on the TWAC product page. And depending on the number of votes that it gets, because everybody will see that, if they like it, you'll get a lot of people jumping on saying, hey, that's a great idea. And of course, our product management team is looking at these ideas all the time. The vast majority of our updates on products comes from our user community, which is great. And if you would like to have a demonstration on a one-to-one basis on any of the technologies we talk about today, please feel free to request that in the chat box as well, and we can organize that at a time suitable for you. Okay, quick poll question. Obviously, today we're going to talk a little bit about HPE. So let me just open the poll here. Very simple question. So what HPE technology have you deployed so far? Obviously, HPE do a lot of stuff, so they've got their server technologies. We're all familiar with their Proliant environments. They're into the HCI business, of course. Networking, the Aruba stuff and others. Their storage systems, they've got management software out there as well. They have a cloud service called GreenLake. If anybody's using that, let us know. And of course, any other technologies that you may have be deployed from HPE as well. So I'll let that run in the background, and we can have a look at that in a few minutes. So let's get straight into the content. Powerful IT operations management for HPE environments. So SolarWinds, what we've done at the start of this year was to create a framework just to make it easy for customers, prospects, end users, partners to get a kind of an understanding, a simple understanding of what SolarWinds offers into the marketplace. So we call this our ITOM, or IT Operations Management Portfolio or Framework. As you can see, it's constructed very nicely of 6 pillars. 5 of them are horizontal, 1 is vertical, but at the top there you have service management. And of course, service management can be requests coming from any part of the business. So it could be HR requests, procurement, it could obviously be IT service requests as well. Really anything that is requested from users can come through that. So that kind of oversees all of the technologies and all the requests going into it. Underneath that, then you have your 4 orange pillars, which are the typical IT stack. And of course, sitting on the top of the pile there is the application performance management. And this is one of the fastest growing markets in IT today in relation to monitoring and management. Applications have kind of transformed a little bit over the last, let's say 10, 15 years. 10 years ago, 15 years ago, we were all very much used to the packaged applications. And of course, people still acquire these today, install them on a server or install them in some cloud environment and run that application. We also, of course, had the custom applications or in-house developed applications, which in the past have been developed in traditional software cycles, maybe 18 months, 2 years, even beyond that. Of course, in the latter years, in the more recent years, we've seen the advent of SaaS applications becoming very popular, especially down in the SMB market. The SMB market would be the fastest changing market in relation to SaaS applications. And then also we've seen the development of the agile development environment, DevOps teams, and the creation of these new modern custom apps, which typically are taking advantage of mobile technologies and so on. So there's really kind of 4 types of applications that are in there. Good news is SolarWinds can cover all of those in relation to monitoring and management. Database as well has been seeing some changes in the last number of years. We're all very familiar with the Oracle of this world, Oracle Enterprise and Standard, Microsoft SQL, the relational databases of the past. And of course, they still make up the vast majority of the databases out there. But we have been seeing a lot of the newer ones coming in, some of the NoSQL open source type databases like MongoDB, Redis, etc. Good news is, again, SolarWinds has been investing in that marketplace, and we acquired a technology to help us to monitor all of the newer ones out there, in addition to, of course, Database Performance Analyzer, which helps us to do performance analysis and monitoring of all of the other ones. So we can really cover the vast majority of the databases out in the marketplace. Infrastructure, a huge area, of course. That's including your physical servers, your virtualization environment, your virtual machines, your network devices and storage network devices, and of course the storage arrays themselves. And of course, lots and lots of vendors out there. The big ones there would be your Dells of this world, your HPEs, and so on. VMware, of course, Nutanix are in there, Microsoft Hyper-V, and so on. So we'll talk a little bit about those in this context as well today. And of course then network management, which is where most people will see SolarWinds from. If you hear SolarWinds, the brand, most people think, oh, they're the network monitoring guys, which is absolutely very true. We've been doing that for quite a long time. But as you can see, we've expanded the capability right across the IT stack from top to bottom. Also on the right-hand side there, you can see the IT security pillar in a vertical sense, because that is permeating across all of the different layers within IT. And IT security is a very fragmented market. There are over 450 different vendors of security solutions in that marketplace. So what we've done here is to be quite specific in terms of the offerings we have, which are strategically aligned to what we're doing in relation to all the monitoring and management as well. So we'll talk a little bit about that as well in relation to HPE later on. Customer base has been expanding. Traditionally SolarWinds has been talking and working with the IT professionals out there, so the network admins, the system admins, database admins, application owners, etc. That's been increasing now as well with platform conversations up to IT manager, IT director level. And of course, if we take a strategic approach to the entire ITOM portfolio, then we're looking at helping organizations plan IT operations management strategically over a longer period of time, and that conversation will typically go up to the VP, CIO level, etc. And of course, cloud has been a big thing as well. So we can now monitor both on-premise environments. We can also monitor cloud environments, SaaS environments, and of course we can also now deploy both on-premise and in cloud as well. So lots of things to be said about that slide, but a very important one because it really simplifies down how SolarWinds can help organizations in relation to what we offer to the marketplace. Okay, so let's have a look at some of the HPE side of things. Let's network side. So network, obviously, we've got a bunch of products in here that can help monitor, analyze, manage, and so on. And when you look at the product naming convention in SolarWinds, if you see the word monitor, so a good example there, Network Performance Monitor, that's exactly what it's going to do. So it's going to monitor the performance of the network and the licensed network devices, the ones that you've selected to monitor. You also see there we have NetFlow Traffic Analyzer. So what's that going to do? It's going to analyze the traffic on the network, tell you exactly what type of traffic, who's using the bandwidth, etc. And then kind of the highest level of capability in a product level is manager level. So we have Network Configuration Manager, where we can execute commands directly from our own consoles and so on. So you'll see all those types of names out there. They do exactly what they say in the tin. Work out of the box, easy to install, easy to get going, and so on. So in relation to HP, of course, we can monitor a lot of their technology. So you can see the Aruba switches and access points we can cover, even their printers. If you want to monitor print services and so on, you can do that. HP fixed port and modular routers. Obviously, they have their NetFlow requirements as well on HP devices and any other SNMP enabled HP device, because we do use industry standard languages, their SNMP protocol, ICMP, etc. So lots to do on the network side, but of course, being SolarWinds, we're very familiar with all of that. Moving into the infrastructure side of things, obviously we get into things like the servers. So we have the Server and Application Monitor solution, Database Performance Analyzer, of course, so lots of databases are running on HPE servers and storage devices. And of course, Server Configuration Monitor, one of our newer products, which helps organizations to monitor any changes that are made to either server configurations or database configurations now as well, which is recently been added into. So we cover the HP per line solutions. Of course, we cover, as I said, the multi-vendor stuff as well. So we also cover Dell and IBM. Out-of-the-box support for lots and lots of applications. And of course, on the THWAC community as well, you can go and download other templates that organizations or people may have created and put up on the THWAC community as well. So a nice community addition there where you can take advantage of work that other people have created, just download it, put it up on Orion. Orion will check the validity of the template, and if it works, you can load it up. Operating systems, of course, we cover all those, and then, of course, the databases that may be sitting on a HP per line server or some HP storage device in there as well. Virtualized infrastructure, of course, everybody's virtualized today. Probably 80–90% of all servers are now virtual machines. So we have a fantastic solution in that space where we've monitoring for VMware, Hyper-V, and of course recently we've added in much more capability on the Nutanix environment as well. And then on the storage, of course, you have the HP Store Serves, the 3-PAR system, StorageWorks, MSN, Nimble, etc. We can monitor the performance and get the metrics that storage managers use all the time, such as IOPS and wait times, all this kind of stuff. Moving into security, so again, we've got some security solutions. One of the most popular ones we have there is Security Event Manager, which is basically collecting logs and parsing logs and normalizing logs for many devices, and any HP device that can create logs, which is probably all of them. We can go and collect those logs, put them into Security Event Manager, normalize them, parse them, and analyze them as well. It also, of course, helps with things like, if there's virus attacks or if there's USB misuse, we can also look at that type of technology within Security Event Manager as well. Patch management, of course, a daily task for many people. The Patch Tuesdays and all this kind of stuff. Everybody wants to make sure their systems are patched. We've got solution in that space, SolarWinds Patch Manager. Access Rights Manager, which is really looking at kind of user permissions management and making sure that users can only see the data they should be seeing. So data leakage prevention, data protection type solution in there. And it also does provisioning for users. So if there's new accounts being added or accounts being deleted, you can manage that through Access Rights Manager. It also puts the access rights to data in the hands of the data owner, not in IT. So you can set it up so that if somebody requests access to a particular environment, they can that request can go straight to the data owner, and the data owner can accept or deny that request. And of course, then configuration management as well, another kind of compliance requirement within the environment. And then finally, IT service management. So again, any alerts that are being created from HPE devices being monitored by SolarWinds, if they're on the Orion system, all of those alerts can be immediately actioned upon, and they can be sent to a number of different locations. They can either go to the ServiceNow. We've announced some new integrations there recently with ServiceNow as well. And we also obviously send it to our very own service desk, so SolarWinds Service Desk, where we can manage that incident through an SLA process. So we can look at the response times, resolution times, measure all of that, report on it, etc., and close out incidents in a streamlined and managed fashion as well. And we'll have a quick look at that towards the end of the session as well. So that's just a kind of an overview. Obviously, a quick, drive through, simple, nice simple view of all the areas that we can cover within the HPE side of things. What I'm going to do now is kind of hand over the control to Evgeny, and Evgeny is not going to talk about App Optics and Database Performance Monitor, because that's from another slide deck. He's going to talk around how we can monitor HPE devices and so on. I know we don't have a lot of HPE devices actually in our demo site, so we'll use Dell maybe to cover that off as well, but it'll be very, very similar capabilities. So Evgeny, I'm just handing presenter rights to you, and you now have control.
Yeah, let me share my screen. So this is our publicly available demo site, which has some examples, well, I'd say a lot of examples of different vendors and technologies we support, and it has examples on how you can use our solutions to monitor them. Unfortunately, in regards to today's webinar, it looks like our demo team took most of the network and server HPE devices into maintenance. So for the purposes of showing the monitoring capabilities for servers and networks, I'll have to use Dell devices for now, because for HPE we offer essentially the same set of capabilities out of the box as we do for Dell. So starting with network devices and monitor network devices, here's what we can collect from HP switches. Well, in this case, as I mentioned, it's a Dell switch, but we have a similar information available for HP. We use, as John mentioned, industry standard protocols to collect information about availability and performance of network devices and show these the device status and all other collected metrics on the web console of our monitoring products. In this case, the information collected can be shown in different ways. You can see an example of a sort of the out-of-the-box widgets available, which can show you the devices placed in the device tree, where you can group them by the vendor or by location or by any other custom metric. The system shows the devices in a simple traffic-like way, and green, yellow, red. So you can quickly see where the problems occur according to the color and drill down into the specific metrics and information to troubleshoot or run any specific analysis. You can also present information on maps. This is an example of the map showing our geographical location, again, with the ability to drill down and with the ability to show the status of the elements right here on the map. Again, same color coding. You can also show information in charts, graphs, tables, and so on and so forth. Again, there are a lot of capabilities in terms of customizing the presented information and showing it in a useful graphical way, which allows you to quickly pinpoint the issues and troubleshoot them more quickly. So again, in terms of what kind of information we usually collect using standard protocols. For network devices such as switches, routers, security appliances, and so on and so forth, we collect information about the availability and performance, something like CPU and memory utilization of the device. Then we collect information about the interface utilization and the level of errors and discards happening on the interfaces. Again, all this information is graphed for each particular element, and you can quickly see the details by just drilling down into this information. We also collect information about topology. So if you monitor multiple devices and you edit the interfaces which are used for connections, for physical connections, in this case between devices, you can see these topological connections in this way, as shown here as a table. So I can quickly see that these devices are connected via these interfaces. And as I mentioned, I can drill down and quickly create a map, or again customize the map, or quickly create a new one showing the device connections and the traffic between these devices. So this is how easy it is. Again, I can quickly open map in editor and then customize this map for my usage. In terms of network device management, again, we also have a module which allows you to automatically back up device configurations and then run comparison reports, so you can quickly compare device configs between each other. You can quickly download a new config manually or automatically. You can upload the previously backed up configs, choose from the available list, and you can quickly execute scripts on the devices. Again, this is possible individually for each device, or you can do it in a sort of grouped way. Choose several devices, again, according to your own logic, grouping, location, or in this case, it could probably be the something like device function, and then upload, download configs, or run specific scripts to change device configurations. And As John mentioned, we also have capabilities to ingest flowing export from the devices. Again, there is no HP device available as for demonstration, but at least we could see that we support HPE, Aruba, and several other vendors in terms of ingesting flow information, and then again show it on graphs and charts. And also in terms of wireless monitoring, since Aruba also has controllers and access points, you can see here that out of the box we can collect information about wireless clients and wireless access points and controllers, and this is information which we collect and present. Yeah, we'll get to the questions and answers, I suppose, closer to the end of the session. Let me just go to the server part. SimpliVity, again, I'm not quite sure. Probably we already have something, but again, I'll have to check and follow up offline in terms of what we have or planning to have for HP SimpliVity available. As far as I understand, it's mostly around storage, but I could be mistaken again because I don't follow HP roadmap that closely. Yeah, in terms of the network device operating systems, since we use, for monitoring, we use standard SNMP protocol. So in this regards, it's not relevant which operating system runs on your network devices. It's Cisco, Juniper, or again, you can see the examples of network devices present here. It doesn't quite matter which what runs on the operating system level of the device, because the device should have a SNMP responder configured to be polled for the specific MIPS and object IDs, which we use to graph the collected information. In terms of the support for, let's say, for these operating systems on the config level, because for collecting configs, we have to collect to the devices via SSH, which is, again, industry standard remote access protocol, and run operating system specific commands to get the device configurations. Then again, we can quickly check what is available out of the box. But in terms of roadmaps, we have TWAC community forum, which John mentioned, and all the questions about roadmaps are discussed on the community forum. Yeah, if you already are using the SolarWinds solutions, this would be a question for support to answer. Today's webinar is specifically for, I suppose, high-level capability, discussing high-level capabilities of the products. If you currently have a specific problem with some information not being collected, support would be the best way to follow, or again, there is a TWAC community forum to answer these questions. So in terms of the servers and HP devices we collect on the, we support on the server level. So again, similar to Dell's, we have a module which collects information about the hardware health of the HP devices. Again, since there is no HP server, HP Blade available on the demo site, I would just use the Dell server to show you what it looks like. So this is a Dell Blade, and we use vendor-provided agents to collect this information. In this case, Dell has so-called Dell Open Managed agents, which can be installed on your blades. And then we use WMI or SNMP protocol to collect hardware health information. So you can quickly see right here in the portal, together with all the other information which is collected from your devices and applications, information about the health of your hardware components of this particular blade. So it could be something like chassis temperature, memory modules status, system board status, fans status, and so on and so forth. For HP, we use HP Insight Manager agents, or we can, in some cases, we can connect to ILO interface directly and then use the onboard management card to collect this information. So this module also collects asset inventory information. Since this is a physical machine, you can see, as I mentioned, you can see information about out-of-bed management cards. In this case, it's an iDRAC card, and in case of HP, it would be ILO card. Physical processes information, memory modules information, operating system installed, network interfaces, logical volumes, directly attached storage, controllers, firmware, software inventory, so which applications are installed here and which drivers are installed here, and operating system updates as well. So this is what is available in the Server and Application Monitor module in terms of monitoring physical health of HP servers. When we start talking about virtualization, this is again more generic because we are relying on the VMware API to collect inventory information and also performance information of VMware infrastructure. And for Hyper-V, again, we use VMware, we use WMI protocol to collect the relevant metrics in terms of virtualization system performance and underlying performance of your data stores, guest machines, and hosts as well. And Virtualization Manager also allows you to use this information from a historical point of view. So it collects and analyzes information for the specific time. Usually we recommend to have it running and collect historical data for several weeks, 2-3 weeks at least. And then the product starts giving you the information about optimizing, essentially recommendation about optimizing your virtual resources. Such as bubbling up information about resources which have too much virtual and memory power assigned to them, or virtual resources which do not have enough vCPUs or memory assigned to them. Also information about the snapshot usage and so on and so forth. And the recommendation agent of the Virtualization Manager also presents you this information in quite a simple and straightforward way. So it tells you specifically what the problem is and how it gives you a recommendation on how to fix this problem. In this case, it tells you that you don't have enough space in a specific data store, so it recommends to move one of the VMs which takes a lot of space to another data store in your cluster. And you can perform the recommendations right away from the web console of the monitoring solution, or you can schedule them to be run automatically during your maintenance windows. And the statistics collected are also shown you here, so you can again check whether or not this recommendation makes sense to you. Yeah, so in terms of support of specific models, again, if support told you that the answer is no, then the answer is no, and it would have to be treated as a feature request. I'm not from a support team to check the support of the specific models by the specific products.
Yeah, for those
again,
ones,
it has to run through this relevant channel.
Yeah, we'd have to. We can certainly bring these questions back to product management because they're the guys who will own the roadmaps of the products. And there is on the TWAC community, if you go to the product pages, there's a what we are working on page as well. So that'll give you some insight into what we're thinking about. There's a question that came up on the storage side of things, so I just posted the what we were working on page there back. But anything beyond that, we can check back in with product management and come back to you.
So yeah, in terms of storage, as far as I remember, at least here we have some examples, sort of real-life examples available to show what kind of information is collected from storage arrays. Let's say if we use this 3-pair array from HPE to show you how it works. In this case, we have a module called Storage Resource Monitor, which collects information from arrays directly or via storage providers. Again, depending on the vendor and model, we use either SMIS protocol, or in some cases we use a vendor-specific API calls. But again, it really depends on the array model and number and the vendor, because there are so many vendors in this area that there is no, again, SMIS was supposed to be the industry standard protocol, similar to SNMP for network devices, but for, let's say, for reasons unknown to me, it didn't take off to have the same place in storage area, storage industry as SNMP has in networking industry. So again, using 3-pair storage array, we can see that we can connect to this array and discover information about the elements configured on this array, such as storage pools and LANs. And we can drill down into the specific LAN or pool level, and here are the metrics which we collect on each particular level. And on the array level, this is aggregated information for the whole array, such as usable capacity and throughput. These are the metrics we collect on the array level, and then similar information is collected on the pool level and specific LAN level. We also use information collected by SRM and discovered elements from the elements discovered by Storage Resource Monitor and Virtualization Manager to place them into the sort of automatically create dependencies between these elements in your environment, so you can quickly see how these elements are interconnected and how they depend on each other. So using the so-called abstract dashboard, you can quickly drill down into the specific level of your storage arrays or pools or LANs, and then filter out a specific element, and then see how it's mapped to the higher level, such as, in this case, virtualization level of your data stores and virtual clusters, data centers, hosts, and then up to the level of guest machines and applications which are configured and running on this particular host and which are using this particular data store for their virtual files. Virtualization Storage Resource Monitor also has capabilities similar to Virtualization Manager in terms that it analyzes the historically collected information, and then it uses this information to give you some, let's call it predictions for the future, so forecasting charts. This allows you to quickly see and again filter out the potential bottlenecks in your environment even before they started affecting your infrastructure. So in this case, you can quickly see the storage elements by performance or capacity risk. In this case, a capacity risk could be essentially to see when you run out of space, in what amount of time you will run out of space on your storage elements, such as, again, LANs, pools, and NAS volumes, for example. And the product presents this information, again, in a simple way. It tells you specifically the amount of years, weeks, or days you have until you will run out of space on this particular element. And similar information is available on the, let me see, on the performance layer side. Again, there is a built-in dashboard which shows you the storage elements by performance risk, and it quickly filters out and shows you the information in terms of the most utilized elements in from a latency, IOPS, or throughput point of view. So again, you can quickly drill down into the specific element and see information on how it's utilized and how it's been utilized historically, which allows you to more quickly troubleshoot and run the analysis on this element. So I suppose this is mostly it in terms of what we can offer, and again, the specific examples on the network storage or server side. So do we have more questions in terms of particular support?
There's a few questions popping in there in relation to different technologies and support and so on. So things like Ruckus, some of the Aruba technologies and so on. So what we can do there is we'll bring those questions back to the relevant product managers. So for Aruba, we will talk to the Network Performance Monitor product manager, Ruckus as well, and some other bits and pieces there. So we just need to see where they sit in relation to the what we are working on page, and you know,
yes,
in the
it
short,
also
medium,
depends
or long.
on. Yeah, again, in terms of support, this is quite a broad question, because we would also, and the relevant product managers would also need to know what do you mean by support, because in terms of recognition and like in this case, for example, showing information about collecting information from wireless controllers or access points, we support Aruba devices and Ruckus devices. But when we start talking a particular model, then again, it can boil down to the question on what we support out of the box and what is possible via the utilities which we have within products which allow you to collect custom information from your devices. That's why it's not something we can cover during today's webinar, because it's going to be a very detailed discussion.
Exactly. Okay, so just one last thing before we finish up. I just want to share a view into the SolarWinds service desk as well, just to give you a view of how that looks and feels and so on. So it's quite there's a lot of capability within service desk. So you can see just in the menu here, you've got your incident management, problem management, change catalogs, release management solutions, service catalogs, CMDB, inventory for computers, software, printers, mobile devices, network devices, other assets, mapping, procurement for contracts, POs, vendors, risk management, etc. So quite a comprehensive coverage. Let me just go into the incident management page. So of course, all incidents may not be problems. So this is where the first port of call, everything will go in here as an incident. If it becomes a problem, then it can be escalated up to the problem page. So you can see here things like email is degraded, or performance is down, network response time is down, MacBook Pro battery failure. There you go, is another one. But just if I go back into the incident, I'll show you how it's integrated into the SolarWinds Orion environment. And I'll go down to my favorite number here. And again, you can see lots of different things here. There's kind of some HR ones here, life event, beneficiary changes, new hires, can't connect to Wi-Fi, and so on. But jumping down to my favorite number, 468, because I do know that's an Orion alert. So it's been assigned out to the networking team, as you can see over here on the right-hand side. There's a high response time on a device. It's a critical issue. It's come from Orion, and so on. Now, if you click on the incident itself, it'll provide some more information on the incident. And this is where you will see the SLA management. Now, in the demo site, we don't manage the responses and SLAs, so these numbers are irrelevant. But basically, you will see response time, SLA capability, and resolution time as well. Also, if you want to assign a technician to help fix the problem, we have automated integration into our DEMA Remote Everywhere, which is a SaaS-based solution to allow technicians to do remote logins and help fix issues and so on. By the way, Service Desk is also a SaaS offering. And just to show you the integration back into Orion, if I just click on the R1 device here, which is the device which is causing the alert, it'll go straight back into the Orion demo site, in this case, to that particular node. And then you can kind of drill into what may be causing the problem on that. You can go to a performance analyzer, and you can see the performance of that device over time in a very visual sense as well. So kind of end-to-end, we monitor, we alert, we put into a management or an incident, and we respond and resolve, right? So you can see here, these alerts have been occurring for a while, and if you click on the alert and you go back to the palette over here, the Data Explorer, by clicking on that, it'll actually bring up the alert here, and then you can drill into that a little bit more as well. Of course, on PerfStack, which is the analytical tool that we have within Orion, you can save these as widgets. So if there's very critical devices or groups of devices, or group itself might include an application plus some servers, virtual machines, and network devices, you can create a widget around the performance of that group, and you can put that up on a knock screen and so on. Also, what we've done recently is we've upgraded the the dashboards. So we have new solutions in the dashboard side as well. And again, these are designed specifically for NOC type environments. So in this case, we have a demonstration of an IT operations management environment. So these are typically big graphics, big numbers, and identifying some of the critical metrics that you may want to manage within a NOC environment. These are editable, so you can go in and edit the widget very easily. You can change your thresholds as required. So if I make this whatever it is, 25, for example, you'll see those numbers changing automatically. Now 25 is probably a bit low for warning. So if I change the 75 down to 65 or whatever, you'll see these changing into other critical colors and all that kind of stuff as well. So I'll put it back to where it was so I don't destroy the place. So that's the kind of the new kind of level of high impact kind of dashboards that we want to provide into NOC environments as well. Okay, so with that, I'll stop sharing my screen. Just could jump back into the slide for a second. We do have an ITOM brochure. If anybody wants to get a copy of this, we have it available in print format and also available in the web format, where all the links are hyperlinked and everything. So that might be a better option for you guys. You'll see here we have the framework. The second page will have the list of the pillars, what the pillars are covering, all of the products within each pillar. And you'll notice there's a gray little tab on some of these products that indicates they are SaaS products. The other ones are licensed, either perpetual licenses or subscription term licenses. And then on the back, typically the three ways that you will work with SolarWinds, either fix a problem now. Here's the product that can fix the problem in a short space of time. You may want to integrate multiple products together in a platform, or you may want to take an overriding kind of strategic view of IT operations management in general, and look at that over a longer period of time. So the most complete IT operations management offering in the marketplace, as I said, application performance, database performance, covering all these technologies, IT infrastructure management, network management, IT security, service management, and then some of the services around that as well, with enterprise support capability, SolarWinds Academy, which is one of the best training systems in the marketplace, and everything is free, of course, if you're on maintenance or in subscription. Our product development, any enhancements to our products, major or minor, are all included free of charge if you're on maintenance. And of course, SolarWinds, the company itself, trusted by over 499 of the Fortune 500, and so on. Looking at that from an integrated versus fragmented visibility, on the left-hand side here, you have the integrated SolarWinds capability. On the right-hand side, you may have one or more of these technologies to help you monitor an environment. Some studies recently said that just in the network side, 25% of enterprise organizations have between 8 and 25 network tools or network products just to monitor the network. So fragmentation can be a major issue, so we're trying to help through integrating and consolidating all that down. And of course, on top of that, all the SolarWinds customer success program services that you get your very own customer portal, so you can very easily see what licenses you have, what upgrades you're entitled to, what you should be upgrading to, and then you can access from there the SolarWinds Success Center. You can request Smart Start services, which are purchase number of hours to help you get up and running, get value of the product very quickly. SolarWinds Academy, of course, as I said, free training as long as you're on maintenance. You can also get your technical staff to go on the SolarWinds Certified Professional if you wish and get SCP certified. TWAC is not necessarily, you don't have to be a customer. Anybody can register in TWAC and join the community. And of course, on the SolarWinds support, there's 3 different levels. Professional support is what you get when you get the licenses. Premier support is kind of a next level up, and then the highest level of support we have the enterprise support as well. And for our partners, of course, around the world who we rely on to bring the message of SolarWinds to customers in regions, we have their partner portal as well, where they can access information they need. So with that, SolarWinds kind of mantra, easy to use, very scalable and affordable. We continue to drive that into the marketplace. We really want to help organizations kind of reduce cost. We want you guys to reduce your risks, and also kind of help with speed to market and agility and all that kind of good stuff as well. You can achieve this through either a modular approach, one-by-one basis, and connect them all together over time. Some companies come along and buy the whole shooting gallery in one go, which is great. And we give you the full stack visibility and the comprehensive ITOM portfolio capability as well. Okay, so with that, we have a record of all the questions there and who sent them in. So we'll have a look at those, get them sent up the proper channels, and we will come back to you in due course. So all that's left for me to say is thank you very much once again for joining us. We do have lots more webcasts planned between now and the end of this year, so keep your eyes and ears peeled for those, and we look forward to joining you again someday for another conversation. Jenny, thank you very much indeed for your demonstration. Obviously, it's a difficult one to demonstrate because it's covering so many different areas. We can only really scratch the surface on it, but it gives people an idea of what we can cover in that space. And of course, thanks to Groiny in the background there for moderating and looking after us. So thank you. And thanks to everybody who attended. We do appreciate it. And we shall see you all again very soon, hopefully. So take care. Enjoy the rest of your day or evening. And we'll talk to you again. Bye-bye.